some people try to jump past the level of where they at to get to where they want to be, but you got to take the steps. You know, if you want to climb any steps in the world, you only have the capacity to be able to jump maybe 1, 2, or 3, right, consistently. You know, maybe you can run and jump 4 steps at a time. Maybe you can do that once. You know how hard you have to train to get up to that capacity, right? But everybody can go 1 step at a time. Everybody in the world has that ability to go 1 step at a time to get to the top. Some people have the ability to go 2 steps at a time to get to the top. Some people, if you want to go 3 steps at a time, you have to train endurance, right? You have to get up to a point where you can go 3 steps at a time. So even when you see people going farther than you, going upward than you faster, it's because they train themselves. They had the experience before they go up there. Like, that's one thing I notice. I look at people that is going somewhere faster, right? And I'm like, okay, it's because they train. They got more experience. Because there's nobody that starts off who can consistently go up 3 times, 4 times at a time. You understand me? But everybody can go 1 step at a time or 2 steps at a time, but preferably 1 step. Because you got to ask yourself, in any process in the world, does it take 365 steps to get to your goal? Which means that you tell me something that you plot out, 365 steps, and within a year, you go get there. Now, if you learn how to take 2 steps, right, at a time, you go get there in half the time. You learn how to take 3 steps at a time, you go get there in even less the time. But it requires you to get to a point where you can take up those leaps and make those leaps and bounds. But for the average person, man, just take it 1 step. And I'm going to tell you one of the biggest lies they ever said. Every level a new devil. No, man, every level a new God. It's funny how people believe and believe in one God, but you understand me? But they believe in many devils. I just want you to think about that. People believe in many devils, but they don't believe in many gods. And I ain't saying God is that there's more than one who created all things, but there are more principles. There are more attributes of God. Just like if you think somebody being devilish, are they a liar? You know, they're a cheater, they're a thief. Damn, all of them is being devil. But when you talk about being God, what are attributes that you commit to those different things? So for me, I got to reverse engineer that every level a new God. You feel me? Every level I'm reaching new heights, new attributes, because God will take you to difficulty. Not people think that only the devil gonna take them to difficulty. No, so you are already attributing your next level to the devil instead of God. So for me, my thought process has got a reverse chemistry in my brain. Every level of new God, I'm getting stronger to handle the next level of opposition. If you don't want no level of opposition, do nothing. Do nothing. If you don't want opposition, don't do anything. But if you, great opposition comes with great vision and great responsibility. So if you want to sit at home, and this is what some people don't realize, is that sometimes doing nothing comes with opposition, because how hard you have to be working to not commit yourself to that level of potential that you have. So the world could be frustrated with you because you have so much massive power and potential that every day you resist the ability to increase. You understand me? So I know people like that. I'm like, bruh, could have millions. Bruh, sis could be with who she wants, wherever, anywhere in the world. Like, your mind is amazing. So when you see a person with that, you start thinking how expansive that would be if they scaled themselves to the highest level of what their edge is in life. Right? So you may get angry at them, and then that person has now faced opposition because you like, nah, I don't respect you. I can't be around you not committing yourself to the highest level. And that person daily has to ignore the commitment that they can make to themselves. Because I know people like this personally. I'm like, bro, how is you not making hundreds of thousands of dollars? All right, one of the most dangerous things that I see in society is the individualistic reality, because it destroys your ability to be able to unify together. And we believe that it's progress because this individualistic need to express ourselves and be seen as different. But it doesn't automatically come with a contribution to the collective. And this is where it get dangerous. See, when you want to be an individual and you are a part of a family, but you have this need to be seen, and oftentimes it can come from an insecurity, it can come from an egoistic perspective, to where even though you know, and this is the part where I say it's dangerous, because you get you get biased. Even when somebody tells you exactly why it's so logical that if you work these steps, you're going to go further, working with the family, working with the movement, working with the organization, working with this vision and goal, you hear it, you listen to it, but you said, damn, if I accept that, then I'm confirming against my own bias, right? And so therefore, instead, you start to attribute your own belief into your system of thought. So now you're like, nah, I gotta stay with this purpose that everything that I do is right, and that if I conform to that, then that's people getting me to go against my beliefs. You become very dogmatic in your want and need to fulfill your insecurities. Like, it should get deep, right? And I know this because I study people to the T. Like, I don't just say things, man. I study people a lot, right? Like in my business, there's people that are not always growing. Sometimes a person if you're working with people that make a lot of excuses and they have complaints, and you tell them why, and they come up with an excuse for every solution, that person then has to separate, observe themselves, right? And go through and be in another place where they can grow. Because sometimes what happens is that the place that they at doesn't have the capacity to grow them, because you're constantly trying to get them to do things that are connected to their weaknesses. So I'm like, you know what? Maybe you keep complaining because I'm trying to get you to go against your very nature. That's not your nature. I'm trying to compartmentalize you in a space, maybe monetarily good for you, but it's not good for you spiritually. Like, it must be killing you, because the way that you complain, the way that you make excuses is not right. Right? And this is how some people at the job, when you go to a job and you complain about a job, regardless of like what's going on, you realize that you filled out an application, you did the interview process, you asked them to go to this job, right? You ask them for this job, and then you complain about why you dislike it every single day. So anytime you go for something and you get it, you have to practice extreme gratitude in it. Man, like, it's a reversal of perspective. Everything just starts to change. You go to the job, now, oh, man, I gotta be here. It starts to make you feel sorry about your position in life, instead of, man, I get to be here. Right? Because the more you increase the gratitude, it grows opportunity for you to be able to do more and grow more. But the more you start to commit that your life is sorry, you get stuck in this loop of living this sorry ass life, and then worse things start to happen to you because you've committed to that sort of thought process. And then you be mad at the person that come there day to day. You say they kissing the boss ass, now they getting a raise. Now they getting increase. And you mad at them because they're doing what they supposed to do with the opportunity. They doing what they supposed to do with the everything is an opportunity. So you have to reverse that. We think about that all the way from when we was in school. You used to get mad at the children who get the A's. You call them teacher pets. Like, they there to try to, create favor and increase and grow and learn and win. And now you mad because they're doing exactly what they're supposed to do to win in life. And that carries on to your attitude with the rest of everything. Oh, that's the teacher pet type nigga. Oh, that's the bro was doing what he was supposed to do. You was spending time judging this person, being in the same exact space, but not getting the same exact results. Man, you got to be able to get them results, man. It's all about the results. So for me, man, when I worked the job, I said the most dangerous thing, you see the movie Limitless. In the movie Limitless, they had this point in the end, he took this super pill where he was tapped into his super mind, and he had been on it for so long that he didn't even need the pill anymore. And Robert De Niro at the end of the movie tried to play him in the scene like, bro, I know what you're taking. You're taking a super pill. And he like, man, this nigga don't know. I'm 10, 20, 100 steps ahead of him. He said, don't you think somebody that's been on that type of level of drug would have already seen these steps a million miles away? You understand me? I've already planned for this 1,000 times. He said, matter of fact, you don't want me working for you because you will end up being my bitch. That's what he said. And that's how I am with a job. Like, but the difference is I respect it and I appreciated every moment of it because of what it grew in me. And I learned about myself. I said, man, this is an education. This is a training ground, not just for this job, but the more responsibility I took on, the more skill sets I had for when I wanted to do my own thing. So now, let me do the clienteling. Let me learn how to merchandise. Now let me learn how to run the register. Now let me learn how to do the selling. Let me learn how to speak Mandarin and Chinese. Let me learn how to do this. Because every skill every responsibility I learned gave me increase. It gave me skill. So I said, damn, when I go do this by myself, they done taught me how to run a whole operation. And this is a $1 billion operation. And I'm able to learn the ins and out of this business. I said, man, shit, I could take this same skill. This is on the job training. So, but it was the mindset because somebody else was there that was working with me that was depressed because they felt like they're in a space where they can't grow. And now they feel like they need to escape this space instead of learn from the space they're in so that they can outgrow the space. See, that's the difference. This is what I got to get y'all to understand, man. You got to outgrow the space. If you have not outgrown the space, you need to stay where the hell you at. And how do you know you outgrow a space in a job, right? Typically, see, I realized that my time was more valuable than they could pay me, so I fired my job. I fired them. Most people, they get let off from their job. I fired them. I said, listen, I had to do an evaluation. I say, self, what's up? What's going on here, man? You done learn how to sell millions of dollars. You done learn this skill. You done learn the clienteling. You done learn how to do the organization with the CPM. You done learn how the data works, the analytics, the distribution of products, the management, the visualization, the design, the coordination, the team membership. You done learned all these different things. Now, what can you do with the knowledge that you now have, right? Because when you first came in here, you ain't have all these skills. You ain't know how to do none of these things. So they're paying you based on how you came in. But who are you now? So I said, shit, well, if they had to pay me based on these new skills and development, they couldn't afford me. It ain't worth my time or the commission that I was getting. And don't get me wrong, I'm getting paid 6 figures. You feel me? So I said, damn, a job can fire you, but you can also fire a job. Why? See, this is a concept that people don't teach y'all about. See, but you gotta do it. You gotta go through an evaluation process with the job, all right? So I hired the job, and I fired the job. So they think they hired me. No, we go to a job, you hire each other. Any employee in the business, any dream you got, anything you got, you can hire, you can fire. It's a two-way relationship, right? You gotta give them 2 weeks notice, but they can give you 1 moment notice. You're gone. You're out of here. They ain't gotta give you 2 weeks all the time. So I fired the hell out of my job. I say, nah. You feel me? Because I learned that I have more value than they can pay. So I kept them on edge, though, because I understood the process. I need to learn the ins and outs. When I learn the game of something, I'm going to take over. Like I